of ISIS. This is Egyptian information. Israel, Isis, Ra, and El is talking about Ra as Osiris, Isis, Queen of Heaven and Earth, and El as in Enlil, as in Set. These things don't mean what y'all think they mean. This is Middle Eastern Babylonian contract money magic straight from Babylon. They reworked your history to pull on your genetic memory so that you will comply with this bullshit. So the 12 tribes of Israel, this group that you're talking about, I have no knowledge of them, so I can't speak on them. But the 12 tribes of Israel is not what you think. When the matriarchy returns, then y'all will understand what the 12 tribes of Israel was and who they was represented by during the ignorance of the people. And shades of color it's on the genome. If it ain't on the genome, it won't manifest. If you're a different species, you can't breed.
That's right.
It's the laws of nature. Nature don't know no color line, but political and military control knows a color line, an age barrier, a sex barrier, a gender confusion, right? All that shit is in the military strategy to conquest the people. They came over as Tudor conquerors. That's what conquistador means. They brought that Bible over here because it's a 400-year contract attached to those who believe in that shit. The first converts to Christianity was done by force over here. And then they forced them to teach it, and they started learning how to conceal the Santeria in the motherfucking Catholic Church. Y'all got to understand how this shit play out. These are contracts, blood oaths, and blood rights. That Bible, you need to burn that motherfucker if you don't know what it is. Because it's going to serve contrary to your best interest. It's going to make fanatics out of people about stuff that don't have nothing to do with them. Trying to identify with somebody called the chosen people of God. Ain't nobody here that ain't chosen to be here by God. What the fuck is you talking about? The fat motherfucker, the skinny motherfucker, the smart motherfucker, the dumb motherfucker, the tall motherfucker, the short motherfucker, the retarded motherfucker, the cerebral palsy, the Bell's palsy, the motherfucking contorted birth child, the ichthyosis, the Hertzitism. They all here because God want them here. But what God didn't want was somebody fucking with the program, stopping you from being who you are. And that's exactly what they was doing. Know yourself first, lest ye be deceived. And that's what I think about them.
Yeah, and I think some of those, I did hear about the ISIS Ra, and El piece that you just touched on. I have heard that. And like I said, we're well aware that the Bible is a program. And actually, when I was reading it years ago, I kind of sensed that there were spells in it. And then that's when I started to really learn, Hebrew. So because I wanted to know what was in there because the English was not the original translation. So, yeah. But what I would like to do is, because I don't think there's any additional questions here. I'd like to thank you, for joining us here. Somebody said free Larry Hoover.
That's my man's. Me and Raven Rock holding that shit down like a real G supposed to.
Yeah, so exactly. So if I don't know if anyone's familiar really quick regarding Larry Hoover, where are the chiefs right now? You had mentioned they are in Raven Rock.
Continuity of government.
And he's been released, but he's over in Raven Rock in the continuity, and they're trying to work out how they're going to, sort this mess out regarding the transition. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
And they also had to sign off on Enlil being punished too, one at a time. They can't punish him unless we disagreed with what he was doing, and they all have to. All of the chiefs that's there have to vex a grievance about his actions on Earth. Big Tuki's grievance was the creation of the handicap. The Crip key is actually that handicap parking symbol that's universal. That's the Crip key. He is the patron saint of those with handicaps and disabilities, for he looks over them, and that's why he's the crooked man. That's his job. That's why he was assigned that position. So when he went and vexed the grievance, he have to complain about babies being born with imperfected DNA from somebody interfering with the genome.
Wow.
Right. So they got different stuff that they grieving about the dirt that was being done on Earth.
Yeah, because they were for generations that were causing just generations of, probably, birth defects, everything from autism to birth defects. I mean, come on.
And then they was misleading the people into believing they were safe, but that's just one thing, and that's just in the last 100 years. These motherfuckers been doing dirt down here for about 850,000 years.
Well, and thank you for bringing that up, because that brings me to a very important question I was meaning to ask you. So here's the thing: if they had been, people have said that these people, these beings, okay, these malevolent beings, have been here not for 100, years, a century, but for thousands of years. So
yeah.
My question is that Nespa? That's correct.
Yeah.
So if they've been here, Rod, for this long, I guess my question is, tell me why would it have taken them, if they've been here for thousands of years, over 2,000 years or longer than that, why would it have taken them just, because when they talk about the history of their whole divide and conquer playbook, they started out in Africa, then they got kicked out of Africa. These, malevolent, dirty Moors that are really malevolent aliens and, skin suits. And then they went over to Europe, caused problems, with the Hegelian dialectic. And then they got kicked out of there, and then they landed here, and their ship crashed into our landmass, not the other way around. That they used to draw up these, adhesion contracts that have been, plaguing our world ever since, and the people. So my question is, if they've been here for thousands of years, how they're saying that, well, the whole interplanetary takeover really happened after the Lincoln administration in what, mid 1800s, like right around 1865, 1871. So if it happened around there, that's just what, 200 years ago. Why, if they were here for thousands of years, why would it have taken them so long for a takeover? That doesn't make any sense. It's not logical.
It was infighting. See, we believe in that technology is new. This shit old as fuck. This ain't none of this shit new. But they destroyed because they was in a light lock. They couldn't get out. So they would purposely destroy civilization to rebuild it from scratch. And they would use it as a...
Are you referring to like somebody had asked about the flood. Are you referring to the flood in the Bible? I mean, because we know a lot of these stories ain't real, right? But are you referring to like the scenario in the flood where they had corrupted so much of the earth? Because it's like, these are the days of Noah now. Everything's been corrupted. So are you referring to the flood where they,
The flood in the Bible is the flood of Unafishtim, and it was only a small area in a portion of the Middle East that was flooded. But we think that is talking about the whole world. The Great Deluge, what they're talking about, was a prior ice age. The melt of the ice age caused sediments to be all over the world, right? But that's not the nuclear winter. Is the thing that most people don't know about. The nuclear winter kept a lot of stuff from manifesting back to higher levels because most of the people was almost destroyed off of Earth. When you study the Vimanis Wars, you get an idea of the magnitude of the ancient nuclear war that took place on Earth. That ain't really so ancient. It's just ancient, relatively speaking. The last ice age was artificially induced by war.
So when you say war, who were the people warring?
Huh?
Who were the people warring? Was it
us and the
children, the Greys?
Anunnaki.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The Atlanteans and the Anunnaki. But we've had wars with other people that came here. The first people that we fought used to come hunt us until we realized what was going on, and that was the ones from Andromeda. They looked like the Wraith in Stargate Deep Space. We fought them before on Earth and fucked some shit up, but it wasn't as bad as when the Gandiva was used. The Gandiva is a planet destroyer bomb. and it knocked off a sizable portion of what was then known as Tiamat, along with the coinciding arrival of one of the passings of Nibiru. So once
they've been warned thousands of years, they had these interplanetary wars that were going on.
Yeah, this shit ain't new. It's new to us.
And so
this part of the galaxy,
and they just got around. And they just got around just 200 years ago, really, with the actual takeover of, planet Earth.
No, they've been in control the whole fucking time. What are you talking about?
So
they've been running the show. They've been running the show from behind the scenes the whole fucking time.
But when you say the whole time, we're being told that history really happened in the 1800s when they came over, started coming.
No, this shit 1400s, about 8,400 years ago. This shit been going on about 8,400 years.
But so you're saying the people were enslaved for 8,400 years?
Yep. They've been enslaved longer than that. When you go back and read the Sumerian tablets, you see that that was thousands of years ago, and they was altering the DNA in order to enslave.
Right. That I'm aware of, but the history we're getting from brothers like Taj that says, well, they when they start coming, their corporation they started forming was just
over
in the
here. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Right.
Okay, so the Americas was off limits because this was the land of Tahuti. And Enki was assigned Africa, Inanna or Isis was assigned Europe and Asia and Australia. And so nobody was come over here and bother us because that was one of the agreements that was made with the Anunnaki. So we was able to live free and untouched until Columbus landed.
Okay, that's starting to make sense. That's why in the Bible they do talk about how God had his people that he watched over, but there were other people that he left to some of the other people. Okay, I get what you're saying, because who they're referring to God in the Bible is not what people think or who they're referring to. Exactly. I got you.
Every time you see the word God, it's not always the same Hebrew word translated into God.
That's right. You are 100% on that, because I have done that. I've done that research as well on the ancient Hebrew. Yep, that's exactly right.
So once they came over here, they crossed into the territory that they was forbidden to come to. And that's what made this shit go down so bad over here. That's why, because everybody over here went to fight in the Seminole Wars. And that's why all of the population in South America is in the north. The biggest population in South America is in the northern part of the continent because they was fighting a war. We just don't have a memory because of the conjure, the voodoo spell, and the artificially induced Kali Yuga to keep us from remembering who the fuck we was. So they didn't really get a stronghold until it was just a ceasefire 200 years ago. That was what was the George Washington Challenge, which was the 32-degree Scottish Rite Challenge. Fezzes versus feathers. Conquistadors versus motherfucking chiefs.
Oh, wow.
Can you master the game, motherfucker? And they said that, first of all, if they do this shit, if they treat us harsh enough and miseducate us bad enough, then ain't none of us going to remember where we was from, what side of the water we came from, and what our heritage was. So when they couldn't unscramble the egg in 1913 when Noble Drew Ali came because the people wasn't ready, so they got to wait another 100 years. They got to stay at execution. Go back and listen to Elijah Muhammad. He break it down for you. So now that their time is up, This a wrap. Ain't no more extensions from here. One of the chiefs remembered that he was like, why in the fuck am I being born under these spotlights? Where is the fucking doulas and who is these motherfuckers in the white coats? This ain't my motherfucking people here. Somebody on the land that don't belong here. That's how long I knew it was imposters on the land. My feelings was most hurt when I realized they look like us, but they ain't us.
That's right.
My
All,
feelings was hurt because I was ready to shit. I was fucking, but I ain't never know the white man wasn't white, and that hurt my feelings so bad. Yeah, I get pissed off when I have to tell y'all that shit, and that's why they say all kinfolks ain't all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Yep. And I take it one step further and say, just because they have the same skin tone does not mean they are of the same genome. We are not the same. And this was the thing, really the dichotomy that we were struggling with as a people, because we kept saying, wait a minute, why can't we get it together? Why is there always somebody mucking things up and doing this and doing that? And we thought that we had the problem, meaning it was us. There was our people just couldn't get it together. No, it was what it turned out to be. And I mean, that's why I say everything you're saying here is so logical, and it really vibrates with, what I suspected all along. When we had all these negative elements in our community turning our people against each other, it turns out those were not our people that were doing it, that are still out there trying to do that mess. Because we care too much about each other. The people that are doing it, like he said, they're not us, but they look similar to us, and that's why they thought they could blend in and get.
They don't have the same love for each other that we have.
No, they don't. They don't. I mean,
that's why those broken families gonna be so quick to come back together when they realize that we've been infiltrated.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here to identify and really. We have got to be that beacon, and we've got to get the message out to the people. I mean, this is why we're here. I mean, we all came back here because I laughed, when you were telling, the genesis of your story. I was like, you know what? You laugh and say, who would want to sign up to come back here to deal with this mess? But guess what? You did it in another life. I suspect I did. That's why I'm here. I feel like this has been my mission my entire life, and probably some of the other people out here that have been doing, the work. So, I mean, yeah, because it's that important. Why? You played a great video. What'd you say?
I'm the cleanup man. I'm the one that cleaned up the shit after the horses all the time.
You're the stable boy. You're the stable man.
Listen, when they call me in, ain't nothing to do but clean up some shit.
You played an amazing on the Elder platform. You showed a really amazing, and this was the Life as a Board Game lecture you did, and I think the part 2 where you actually played a sound clip of these two children, and they were talking and communicating telepathically, and they were explaining the whole why they came back to this planet, and and the reason being was they were like, because again, who would want to sign up for this? And she'd ask, why you come back? And she said, well, I came back for my family, to save my family. And really, that kind of sums it up. That really vibed with me because, if we were, the reason why we're in it is for the same reasons. It's to save our family and to save our people. That's why we came back. Yep. So, I mean, that's why we're here. And each and every one of us have, and I mean, especially to the tribe out there, we all have a very important part in this cleanup. I mean, we can't just put all of the burden on the heavy, very heavy, amazing, strong shoulders of this chief here. We all play a part. I tell my tribe all day long, look, we're all leaders here. None of us are alone. And I tell you, the numbers are rising in this room. So listen, please, share, family, and subscribe, the new people on the channel. And please, attack that like button. Let the brother know that you appreciate his energy that he has brought here. And I appreciate all the energy of the tribes here. And I want to wrap it up because I know it's getting late here. But here's the thing, family. We are going to keep this conversation going. So I am going to stay connected because I would like to, keep this conversation going. And we're going to bring him back. And if it's okay with the chief here, with Brother Rod, we're going to bring him back, in a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe. And keep this conversation going. So you guys might want to load up some of your questions then. And yeah, and one of the things that we would like to continue that's going to be part of this study is that declaration, because that is very important to really expand on that and get that information out to the people. And we really need to be studying that.
So they enumerate your rights, but it's up to you to exercise them.
That's right.
So all you need to be studying is how to exercise my rights. If you don't know how to do it, you got to study it until you figure it out. Because they know ignorance of the law is no excuse.
There's no excuse. That's right.
Therefore, become educated in the law and don't be no fool.
Right. But we want to drill into that declaration because many people there are probably people that are not even aware that declaration is probably in this very room. they're not even aware that it even existed. So, and that's why we need you to share that, that information with your family and your friends. And we need to continue the conversation even offline with the people out there, because it's not enough for us just to be, conscious. We have to reach and teach as many of our people, about that particular, document and what it means for us, as a people, organic to the land. So once, I'd really like, again, thank you so much for your support. And thank you so much, Brother Rod, for joining us on this call this evening. And like I said, I will, if it's all right with you, we'd like to bring you back. And
yeah, ain't no problem. I enjoy talking to you.
Yes. And I really appreciate you and your energy. And like I said, you are a lightning bolt to our world. You're a light, what they say, we're the light of the world. Well, you're lightning. So thank you. I did a video. You know what I called that video? And this was like literally about, I want to say 3 years ago. So nothing's random. It was called The Rod of Jacob and the Fall of Baal. And back then we thought Baal was, the Caucasoid, the Caucasian. Little did we know that Baal was, it wasn't.
That's a title for a Sumerian position, where we translated as Lord. But Baal is a position. It's like you over a certain group of people, a certain amount of people. But they don't know that. So
that's right.
I mean, they think it's an actual person. Baal Hadad. Exactly. Hadad was the what you call the role model for the position of Baal. Hadad was his name. So every time somebody earned the position, the title would become called Baal Hadad. That made him look like he lived forever at the time.
Wow. So as you can see, he is literally a walking encyclopedia, family. He is a walking encyclopedia here.
Yeah, they call me Dr. Rod, the walking university.
Pretty much. So, information is empowerment. So, I would, because we still have, he is chock full of information. And, I still would like to continue to share like I said, we have so much to continue to uncover here, with the tribe. So, I will be bringing him back, real soon. And also I want to send you, I'll reach out to you on your Facebook, because, I want to get your email so I can send you that book. I'd like you to take a gander at that. I think it'll be some interesting information. Yeah. And also I wanted to get that Malachi, translation of the Bible. Meaning figure out how to get a hold of that, because I can't find it online. I remember you had mentioned that too. He did a translation. So I'll connect with you, offline. The
Bible or the Holy Tablets?
Which one did he transfer the Bible from Hebrew?
He did that too. He translated the Holy Tablets and compiled those. He translated the Bible and the Quran. And Asahuf, the purified pages, are somewhat in the Holy Tablets.
I would like to get the Bible, get my hands on both the Bible and his translation of the Bible, as well as the tablets. Mm-hmm. So if you on that.
This is in parts. So for the Old Testament, you have to find the Torah. Then you have to find Al-Zinjil for, I think that's the New Testament. It might just be Revelations. I'm not sure. Yeah, so he don't have a straight through translation of the entire Bible, but he translated it in sections.
Wow. But that's okay. That's all right. I'd still like to get it. It's gold. It's gold. And plus, I've done some translations, and I would like to cross-reference and compare some of his work with mine. I think it'll be great. Mm-hmm. I tell you, family, do you know how powerful this convergence is? It is so powerful. The screen on my computer has gone black because they don't want this energy. They don't want this convergence of energy, family. I can't even get back in and to end the call because it is literally my screen gone black, family. I can't make this up. I'm trying to get back in and it went black. So, this is like, okay, let the games begin, So, but again, like I said, nothing's random and we're all here for a reason. So, I'm going to end the the chat right there, in the broadcast and the transmission. Thank you so much again, Brother Rod, for joining us. We really appreciate, all you've done and the your energy that you've brought here. And like I said, we will be in touch. Thank you so much, family, for joining. And we really appreciate it. Please, again, share and subscribe, and vibe up, tribe up, family.